to keep the small amount of loyal customers they have now, as well as find new ways to go out and find more. And here's Andrew to go on some more of the findings.
All right, so the next part that our customer service survey covered was the wait time at Gatto's, and as you can see up here, 37% had to wait 10 minutes or less, which is pretty amazing for a sit-down restaurant. I mean, you don't think that you're just going to go in and order your food and it'll be there in 10 minutes or less. You might think that the quality would take a hit because of that. But then 30% only had to wait 11 to 15 minutes, which is pretty understandable. I mean, you go to some other place like Olive Garden, you're expecting to wait at least 15 minutes. And then 23%, a smaller percentage, had to wait 16 to 20. 20 is where you're kind of getting into the, we're waiting a little bit too long for our food. And then only 7%, which is, I think, 2 people total out of all the customers we surveyed, had to wait more than 20 minutes, which is probably a little bit too much. Both of these surveys, however, did come from the weekend. So, Gatto's just falls a little bit behind, and maybe they don't have the staff to keep up with making the food as quickly as they should. And then 3%, one person actually didn't respond to this question. The next question had to do with meal quality. 44% of the customers we surveyed said it was excellent. The 33% above average, and then just 23% said average. The most important thing that Gatto should take away from this is that there was 0 negative feedback. Nobody said below average. That was an option on the survey, but nobody felt strong enough about their meal to say that it was actually below average. I mean, when 77% of your customers are saying that your meal is at least above average, you might be thinking that you're doing something right. Then again, though, the 23% saying just average, if you go and ask somebody, oh, you ate there, what was the food like, how did it taste, and you say average, that's not really going to encourage them to go there and try something. People want something better than average. And then the food presentation kind of ties into meal quality. You see them bringing out food to another customer and you say, oh, that looks good, maybe I'll try that. Or you already have your food and you see something else that looks good and you're like, oh, I'm going to have to come back and maybe get that another time. But 33% said that the food presentation was excellent, 37% above average, and 30%, a higher percentage than in meal quality, said that it was average. I mean, again, 70% collectively saying it was above average is a pretty great number. The 30% average, I mean, of course you want to draw people in with how your food looks, but if you're drawing them in with other aspects too and the quality is still good, the presentation isn't super important. It's just there for the initial attraction. Okay, the next thing we covered was employee professionalism. Now, employee professionalism is really possibly the most important part of customer service. If you don't have professional employees, people aren't going to like you or respect your restaurant or want to come back. I mean, you don't want a server that doesn't treat you with respect or is just totally informal. I think one time when I did go to Olive Garden, one of the servers actually called me bro. And that just kind of stuck with me because it was so informal and tacky that it just drove me nuts. But so 58% said that the employee professionalism was excellent, 33% said above average, and only 9% said average, which is really good. I mean, you want somebody working for you that represents the company well and is able to handle every single problem and do so keeping the customer happy and making sure that their experience at Gatto's was enjoyable and that they end up coming back in the future because of the professionalism of your employees. Next thing we covered was store appearance. Now this is probably more important than anything else for Gatto's, particularly just because they're on First Street in Cheney. And I mean, I assume when most people drive through town, they either take, Betts Road or First Street. Those are the two main ways. So there's so much traffic driving down First Street every day. When you see just some tacky rundown building, I mean, it doesn't really intrigue you to go there. You're going to think that the food is the same as the building, It's just not very good quality. So Gatto's needs to like appeal to people with the way that the building looks, and the results on that were actually fairly good. 35% said excellent, 39% above average, and 26% average. Once again, average, not really doing much for you. You want to shoot higher than that, but nobody said below average, once again, as it was a choice on the survey, which is good news for Gatto's. Now I will hand it over to Jess to cover some of the other findings.